the oppressor, is the mind of the oppressed. So the most powerful weapon that sex has is not all the mutilations of the other parts, but the mutilation that begins to take the head away from the body and claim the head as your own. And then begin to nurse and nourish the head and feed the head messages that are in opposition to the rest of the body. Once that mutilation has been made, you don't need any more. Because then those people who have been taken into death of that. The second major cause of death among African American men under the age of 35 is homicide. 98% of those who are the victimizers and the victims are people who look like each other. There's very few Euro-Americans, police or otherwise, who kill African American men. African American men are killing each other. Now let's not be funny with this mess. Let's not walk around talking about black and proud. You believe that. I believe that. But look how few of Dallas is here tonight. We represent a minority here. The rest of the brothers and sisters are out there killing each other because they have been infused with the mind of self-destruction. We somehow continue to die, as Dr. Bird was talking about today. We die of lung cancer 25% more than do Euro-Americans. Lung cancer is the most preventable cause of cancer. Why don't we prevent it? We won't stop smoking. We make nothing off the tobacco growing. We don't even pick it no more. We make nothing off of the rolling of the cigarettes. We make nothing off of the advertising, except Johnson Publications. I wonder who he works for. We make nothing off of any of the whole process. All we do is help to bring business to the cemetery. Because we continue to smoke them when they put on the package. Food. These things will kill you. It's on the package. Every time you pick up the package, it's on the package. Hazardous to your health. If you smoke these idiots, you will be dead soon. Now look, what did I tell you? Fact even fact has to put truth in there. If you're going to present anything, you've got to have truth in there somewhere. So they give you the poison, label it as poison, and because your head has been severed, you, with great felicity and alacrity and enthusiasm, take down the poison. And then they go on and they give you intoxicants. Call it toxic, put toxic on it, and to give you the percentage of the toxicity, and you proceed to take the toxicity. They tell you that, look, if you continue to eat all this salt and swine, your days will be numbered upon the land which the Lord thy God has given thee. And you can't stop eating them ribs on Saturday afternoon in Dallas. You can't give up the chitlins on New Year's Day. Now look, I know what some of you saying. Well, he's just pushing that Muslim ideology now. Ignore this part. This part doesn't have anything to do with the real stuff. Close your ears till he gets back to stop propagandizing. Forget that. The point of it is that if you don't believe me, go ask your Christian physician. As soon as you go there, he says, stop eating so much salt and pork. Get off it right away. You may live longer. Even he, though, continues to eat it because he, too, has had his head severed from his body. He, too, is a victim of the Osirian mutilation. And in the process, he's unable to even bring together the knowledge that he has in his head with the knowledge that his stomach and his liver and his lungs and his intestines require in order for his life to continue. We have the fact that cardiovascular diseases, strokes, are 7 times greater the chance of dying from that if you are an African American. That prostate cancer, cervix cancer, the most curable forms of cancer, the most common causes of death, 25% higher for cervix cancer among African American women, 3 times higher for prostate cancer among African American men. Why? Primarily because African American, as the doctor was saying earlier, the unavailability and the unwillingness to go get health care. Someone says that something is wrong with you and you don't want to believe them until it's too late, until the pain gets so bad you can't do anything about it. The warning signs you ignore because the head has been severed from the body. Most destructive of all, brothers and sisters, is the intellectual division. The intellectual division that has put our minds at war with our minds. A kind of intellectual division that has us working with a dual definitional system. What does that mean? That means that the natural survival orientation of your own life insists upon your doing what's necessary to your survival. It teaches you that you are not ugly, you are beautiful if you are alive. It teaches you that some things must be done to ensure your own survival. It tells you that in order to be able to utilize psychology, you can't use the information of Sigmund Freud, because Sigmund Freud was utilizing the information based upon the psyche of very neurotic Jewish women in Victorian Europe at the turn of the century. So the nature of the psyche that he described was the psyche that had to do with him, his time, and his place. Maybe those crazy Jewish women had penis envy. I don't know. Freud admits that he suffered from an Oedipus complex. He admits he loved his mama and wanted to take her from his daddy. He admits it. He admits that he used to go to war with his dad and he hated him all his life because he had his lovely mother and he wanted it. John Watson, the father of behaviorism, never looked at a person but believed in rats. His own daughter wrote in his biography that this was the coldest, most inhumane being that ever lived. The one thing he didn't believe was in touching his children. The one thing he didn't believe was doing anything to show affection towards his own daughter or his own wife. And furthermore, he lost 3 jobs and 3 wives because they constantly caught him on the table, the desk in his office with one of his co-eds. Frequently. This is the famous Dr. John Watson. Now you see, what we have here is a strange situation. This man who's begun to tell us that white rats meant more about human beings than human beings mean about human beings. This man who began to tell us that you can understand all you need to know by simply putting a rat in a cage and watching the rat behave. This is the mind that was there. This is the mentality that was talking about a reality that they had to deal with. And look at the kind of rats they got. White rats. Now, I don't know about you, but I have seen rats and mice and rodents and all their relatives all my life. I have never seen a pale white, pink-eyed white rat until I went to a pale white, pink-eyed university that had cages full of pink-eyed, white-skinned, blonde rats. Now, at first, it shocked me. I was frightened, I must admit. I was terrified. A white rat, brown rats, gray rats, big ones, little ones, any other kind of rat, I could deal with them. I knew those rats. But I'd never seen these mutants called rats. But these were the experimental subjects for most of what they are calling psychology. Now, another story that we won't tell tonight is why it is that Set chose mutants called rats to come up with his laws of human behavior on. Why didn't he go get a naturally occurring rat that was a brown rat or a black rat or a gray rat? Why didn't he go get an ordinary natural rat? Why did he go get one of these mutated rats?